Welcome everyone to our first video for the 2024 high school football season here in North Carolina. This video may be a little bit longer than most of my videos as I've had a lot of great plays sent to me and so forth, and I want to include all those plays so that we can learn from those plays and get better throughout the rest of the season. So let's get into our first play for this week's video. Our first play here, we're going to talk about kickoff and positioning, and specifically, we're going to focus on the positioning of the referee on this play. And so, if we look at our new mechanics manual for this year on page 137, it gives us a nice diagram. As you can see right here, though, we have the referee over near the visitor sideline, near the pylon, coming up off the goal line. And that position is not the position that we want to be in accordance with the mechanics manual as we follow here in North Carolina. So we want to move as a referee into the middle of the field more, and we want to be on the goal line. And this gives us a better balance in coverage, and we want to not be so far on the visitor's sideline. As you see this play develop also, we can see the referee coming up the sideline there, and then the head linesman ends up about the 50, and a referee actually spots the ball on this out of bounds. The head linesman actually wants to stay in their area of coverage and wait for the ball to pass and then pick up that runner and take that runner up the sideline to get the out of bounds spot. So let's use the proper mechanics that are in the manual, and this will give us better coverage on kickoff plays. Our second play here, we're going to take a look at the proper position of our referees on our kickoffs. And you're going to see here a difference of where the location of the referee is and where they're positioned. As you can see inside the circle here, he's maintaining coverage on the goal line because that is the important line for the referee. The referee has the goal line all the way across, and he is more in the center of the field, positioned to be able to balance the positioning of all the officials in the coverage in this play. You can see he follows up, comes over to close down, and we have a second angle here. We can see the referee at the bottom screen right here, positioned where it needs to be on this kickoff to be able to provide the proper coverage and adherence to the mechanics manual. So keep this in mind. If you're not positioned in this area on kickoffs, we want to move to this area as the referee. And as you can see here, as the ball goes to his right, you'll see him here coming in the screen to close down and clean up behind the play after the play is over, doing a great job of dead ball officiating. Our next play will also be a kickoff play. And on this play, we're going to talk about a couple of things regarding our dead ball mechanics and the getting the ball onto the field of play. And so we're going to focus on the near sideline. We're going to have the line judge and the umpire here in a minute into the view of the screen. We can see the ball come this way. We see the line judge come downfield. Remember, you're not supposed to drift too far. The mechanics manual actually says the umpire has that ball all the way up to the 45. But anyways, here we have the ball is down, and we have the umpire immediately trying to get the ball from the sideline. Let's pause before we get that ball from the sideline on kickoffs, especially. Remember, nothing's going to take place until we get the ball spotted. There's no clock running. There's no play clock or anything running. So let's delay this. Let's dead ball officiate. As we can see, we still have a pile of players. And I know we have the line judge there and the referee and the head linesman all the way across the field, but we still want as many officials as we can to have eyes on this until we get those players separated so that we don't miss any potential action. Now we see the line judge coming in here, and I want you to watch, though, number four right here in blue inside the circle, what he does. And we really need to address this, and he pushes that player off the pile. And what we need to do is we really need to consider flagging this. I would recommend flagging this, especially pushing a player off the pile. This can lead to other problems. The other thing here finally is, if we take a look at this play, is we need to be giving the stop the clock signal. The only official here that I see in this screen during this play that gives the stop the clock signal is the referee coming up. All officials on the field should be giving that stop the clock signal as we watch this play again and see. We need to be giving that stop the clock signal. So let's remember that after the kickoff. Stop the clock so we can get the clock stopped and then get things set for the next down. Next play here, we're going to talk about mechanics again, and we're going to focus on the mechanics of the line judge. And here in North Carolina, in our association, we have the back judge and the line judge underneath the uprights on extra points and field goals. As we can see here, though, our line judge is positioned 2 to 3 yards outside that upright. You want to get yourself directly underneath that upright. Now, I know we see the umpire here kind of in the front of the area. But we want to get our line judge underneath that upright. You want to be lined up with that upright, because if you have a close kick that goes in or out close, you want to be underneath there. It helps to sell the call. It helps for a better view of the angle of the play. So make sure you get yourself positioned in the proper position on our extra points and field goals, as it will help with the call and help getting the call correct. This play, we're going to talk about the sideline requirements of the team box. And here we can see, as I have diagrammed out, the team box, which goes from the 25-yard line and then is 2 yards back off the sideline. But as we notice inside the circles, we have two coaches, one who's in that restricted area in front of the team box. The other one is down near the 20-yard line and also in the restricted area. So we want to clean this up now early in the season, and it will help us later in the season. The reason why we have this is, one, we have a rule. Two, it's a safety. If you have a play and you're the wing official moving, you could collide with one of these coaches. So let's get this cleaned up. Let's get the coaches back where they belong early in the season, and then we'll have less of a problem if we do this early in the season, clean up our team boxes, and we'll have better control. And we'll also reduce the risk of injury to you and the coaches and any other player personnel in the team area. On our next play here, this will illustrate great mechanics by our line judge. And these mechanics should be used by both our line judge and head linesman on plays. And we see our line judge here right inside the circle. And as we watch this play, we're going to see if you want a foundation or a footprint for what your mechanics should start out or look like, this is pretty much a great example of that, of how we want our wing officials and their mechanics to be on a play. As we get into this play, we'll go through it, and what this official does is so good. So you see the official backing up. He looks left and looks right. And I'm going to assume he's looking to make sure his area is clear, his box is clear, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we have our area restricted zone. And then you can see right here, he's signaling like he's supposed to in the mechanics manual that his receivers are back. Does a great job there pointing back, signaling to his other official across, the head linesman, to let them know about the formation and to make sure the formation is legal. So that's an outstanding communication there with a signal. And then as we'll see the play here and we'll see the snap, we're going to see how this official stays in his line of scrimmage or in his line of scrimmage, and then he comes up to the play, squares off, comes in. He's got a first down, so what's he doing? He's stopping the clock. He's giving the signal. The mechanics manual says we give 2 stop the clock signals. In this case, I think he gives 3, but that's fine. He's communicating to the crew and to the clock operator to stop that clock by giving that signal, so that we know the clock's supposed to be stopped. And then here at the end, he's communicating with a signal to the referee that we have a first down. He's holding his spot right here, comes in off the sideline to about the middle of the numbers, which is great, so that the umpire's got a good spot. And we have great foundation for mechanics here to utilize in every one of our plays as a wing official. Our next play here, we're going to look at the 2 players inside our yellow circles, and we're going to watch the action after the play here, and we're going to take a look at some great job by the line judge and the back judge on this play, who do some awesome dead ball officiating. So we have the ball out. We see this is the line judge responsibility. Then he comes in, he sees this action right here, closes down on the play. You see the back judge coming in to close down the play, the action by those 2 players to prevent any further problems in that area. They come in, they close down, their presence is felt. I'm sure they may even be either utilizing their whistle or their voice commands to tell these players to separate. And that goes a long way. I think this was about the 4th or 5th play in this game. And that sends a message to these players in the teams and everybody that the officials are on top of that after the action play, the dead ball time frame. And it will go a long way in preventing future problems potentially in this game. Great job here. Next play here is a punt play, a scrimmage kick, and this play was sent to me, and the point of emphasis here is a great point of emphasis that we need to continue to officiate the play until the end of the play, and you'll see here in a minute. So we have a punt. We have first touching right here approximately at the 20-yard line. We will then see here as the play continues, we'll have the line judge come down and put a beanbag at the spot of first touching. That is correct in proper mechanics because we have a spot for the first touching with a beanbag. But remember, we still have a loose ball. This ball is still live. This play is still active. We need to continue to officiate this play even after we put the beanbag down. We can see here that the K player then recovers the ball at approximately the 14-yard line. And we see the back judge and line judge doing the proper mechanics of stopping the clock, giving that signal. That's correct. But neither official has continued to officiate this play to get the spot of the recovery at the 14-yard line. We have one about the 10 and one at the 20, but neither of them are at the 14-yard line. The point here is the beanbag marks our spot of first touching, but we must continue to officiate the play as the ball is live. We can come back to the beanbag to use the spot of first touching, but don't stop officiating the play until the play is completed. Our next play here is a free kick that is occurring after a safety, and the kicking team chose to utilize a punt to free kick, which they can do after a safety. And so on this play, we're going to take a look at the receiving team right here, these two players, the player that recovers it and the player on the far side of the screen. And you're going to see the player that receives it hands the ball off forward. And by rule 7-3, section 3, article 3, during a scrimmage kick down after a change of team possession, no player may hand the ball forward to a teammate. So this is illegal handing. This is a 5-yard penalty. It is normally a loss of down, but when you have a change of team possession, we do not apply the loss of down. You don't see this occur a lot, but you need to be aware that if it does occur, that this is forward handing and this is a foul and needs to be flagged at the point of the handing here. So we would have a 5-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. Now, there is a flag thrown here in the nice sideline. I'm not sure what that flag was for. The next play we're going to take a look at is a great example of a rule change that occurred in 2023 regarding contact on a defenseless player. In this case, it will be the number 2 receiver in the head linesman side of the field inside the gold circle here. That will be the player that we'll focus on, and you'll see the contact on this receiver on a pass over the middle of the field. We're also going to see 2 flags, one by the back judge and line judge. And in my opinion and judgment, this is correct call. This contact on the receiver or the defenseless player is correctly called unnecessary. Remember the requirements last year that a player to make a hit like this needs to wrap up. And it's clearly on this play, this defensive player does not wrap up. Now, if there was incidental contact or the defensive player in this case was going to make a attempt on the ball, a legitimate attempt on the ball, then and they had contact, you could deem or judge it not unnecessary. But in this case, you can clearly see, in my opinion, that the defensive player is totally focused on making an hit on that receiver. And so I think this is appropriately called and flagged by the 2 officials on the field for unnecessary on a defenseless player. So our next play here, a couple things to talk about. First of all, the situation. We should all be aware of the situation on the field. This is a 3rd and short, less than a yard to gain. And our focus is going to be on the action by the quarterback and the running back on this play. Now, the rule says that players must come set for 1 second. Now, on most plays, we're not going to count out 1,001 and 1 complete second on a play to ensure they're set. We're normally going to, if they're 8 tenths, 9 tenths, 7 tenths of a second, they pause, that's fine. But when there's trickery or a gimmick play, and I would call this a trickery play, when we see a trickery play, we want to hold them right to the standard so that they don't gain advantage. As you can see, this quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage and snaps the ball pretty quick. Now, would you judge this to be set for a second? And I think on a play like this, involving the situation with the yardage, the distance, and, working for a first down, we need to be aware of that. And if they do this on, 3rd and 10, obviously, we may not flag it. We may just warn, let the coach know. But in this situation, does this player come set for a complete second? And like I said, when we have a play that involves trickery or a gimmick play like this, we need to hold them to the exact standard of the rules so they do not gain an advantage on the play. This play, we're going to talk about mechanics. And we have a delay a game, and we can see the umpire starting to move towards the line of scrimmage here. And the back judge must throw the flag. We can't see the back judge. and we'll see the signal by the referee as a delay game. But no officials give the stop the clock signal. Remember, when we have a flag or a reason to stop the clock, we want to mirror that stop the clock. We want to give that signal twice of stopping the clock. That will get the attention, hopefully, of the clock operator to properly stop the clock so that time does not run off the clock. So, in a situation where you have like this, a delay of game foul, and we have a flag down, we would like all officials to mirror that stop the clock signal so that the clock operator gets the clock stopped properly. Next play we're going to take a look at here. We're going to have a running play towards the line judge's side of the field. And on the play, we're going to have a block that occurs, a block in the back that occurs behind the run. And right here, we're going to see this player on the offense right here at the 30-yard line block a defensive player behind the ball. And because it's so open and obvious and out in front and everybody can see it, yeah, even though it's behind the play, we're definitely going to want to flag this. Pretty much almost any official who sees it could flag this where it's occurring at, because we want to get it so that we get this foul and we clean this up and it doesn't develop into a problem in the game. Our next play here is going to be a running play where we're going to take focus on the running back who gets the handoff and runs the ball. A couple things on this play that are really good to point out. First of all, we're going to see the run to the line judge side of the field, and the runner's going to have his helmet removed by a face mask, which is flagged by the referee. And we shut this play down. The officials stop this play because by Rule 4.2, Article 2, when the helmet comes completely off the runner, we stop the play immediately, and that's for safety. Now, the second part of this is because the helmet came off as a result of a foul committed against that player, the face mask, this player can remain in the game for the next play and does not have to be removed from the game. The only time that player would be removed from the game is if the helmet came off and it was not a result of a foul or a penalty. So good job here on getting this call correct. As you can see, the helmet ripped off and the flag coming in. Our final play we're going to look at this week involves forward progress and where the spot would be when a runner, in this case, on this play, the quarterback slides feet first, or like a baseball slide. So you see the quarterback here scramble, running forward. And now, where would you mark the ball? Where would you put the forward progress spot? And so we're going to come back and look at this play and break it down further. As we can see where the officials have marked it on the field, looks like the 39-yard line. And as you see the play again, we're going to stop it right here. And we're going to look inside the circle, and it looks like about the 39-yard line. And remember, this runner is down when any other part than his hand or his foot touches the ground. And it looks here like maybe his thigh or his buttocks are touching the ground. So this looks like to be a great spot by the crew on the field. We don't want to give the additional yardage of the slide up to 3 yards past that is indicated here. We want to spot this runner down where they slide and make contact with the ground other than their hand or foot. So in this play, this crew does a good job of getting the correct spot around the 39-yard line. So don't give them those additional yards when they slide forward. Great job. Until next time, take care. Again, thank you everyone for taking the time to reviewing this educational video. I hope the information in it was helpful and help you in future games. I hope that you can use this information to learn from these plays so that you can improve your officiating. If there is anything in this video that does not go with your association or your group of officials, you might want to discuss that, because we're using the NFHS rulebook along with the guidelines that we have here in North Carolina. Thank you everyone, and take care.